period. Now, as women, we nurture, right? We nurture. We nurture so much. Sometimes we forget to nurture ourselves, right? We forget about our own pain. We forget about it. And so we end up putting up this front. We put up this damn front as if we aren't hurting and can't hurt. And that front, it's a facade. And it's a facade we need to do away with. It's a facade we need to do away with. Stop pretending that things don't hurt when they do hurt. Stop pretending that we're so strong that it doesn't bother us, right? Stop pretending. Stop pretending. It is time that we be ourselves. And those that don't like who we are can go on about their business. It is time that we stop paying attention and giving air to those that don't support us. Why do we care if they don't support us? We should not be giving them air. We should not be giving them attention. Our attention and our air should be given to those that support us or support the information that we're putting out. That's where our air and attention should go to. We ignore those that support us. We ignore those that need us, that really need us, to fucking care about those who have negative things to say about us, right? Who don't support us, right? And here's the bad thing about that. Do you know those people that always want to tear you down and always have negative things to say about you? They envy you and want to be you. And this is why. And so since they can't be you, they would rather kill you. And when I say kill you, I don't mean, I mean kill the character within you. Kill the person that you are. And every time you give them air and attention, you die a little bit. You die a little bit. So let's stop dying a little bit for those that don't give a fuck about us and envy us and want to be us. And since they can't do what we do, they'd rather tear down what we're doing. And we keep giving them air and attention. Let's stop doing that. Let us drown out the negativity with positivity. Let us drown out the negativity with positivity. And I'm saying that because check this out. You can't have one without the other. There's going to be negative. We cannot do away with negativity, right? We know this. Absolutely. We know this. So since we know that we can't do away with negativity, why don't we inject the spaces that we're going to be in with so much positivity that it drowns out the negativity? It just drowns it out. Why don't we inject the spaces that we're going to be in with the resources that's needed for healing? And I mean proper healing. Healing to the point where that thing that happened to you is not you. Healing to the point where that thing that happened to you does not own you. Healing to the point of where that thing that happened to you does not drive your actions, does not drive your emotions, and does not drive who you are or who you become. This is what we have to do. And it's going to hurt like hell. And it requires change. It requires change in you, in your behaviors, and in your reaction. Stop giving them what they want. Stop giving them what they want. They want the negative reaction from you. You know why they want the negative reaction from you? Because that means that you have now stooped to their level. You have stooped to their level. You know, you can read a motherfucker by not stooping to their level. You know that? Did you know that? You can read a motherfucker by not stooping to their level. Do you know how many people across this app has shown by you ignoring their ignorance and their stupidity, they get highly offended and upset because you won't stoop to their level, right? They're highly offended and upset. But they even get more upset when you go lower than them too, right? So this should tell you. This should tell you that that is the type of motherfucker that'll never, ever be satisfied. No matter what you do, no matter how you react, they will never be satisfied. Because like I said, they envy you. They want to be you. And because they can't do what you do, they want to kill you. They want to kill your character. They want to kill your reputation. And they want to kill the do in you. They want to kill the can in you. And every time you have a reaction to what they're doing, you're helping them win. You're helping them win. Let's no longer help them win. Let's no longer help them win. Let's leave them in the dust, the gutter, and the dirt that they want to be in. Let them pigs waddle in their own shit. Let them waddle. Because like my bio says, Buddha said, 3 things cannot long be hidden. That is the sun, the moon, and the truth. The sun, the moon, and the truth. So let's leave they lying asses where they stand. Let's leave they dirty, gutter, nasty asses where they stand. Let's begin to heal us, our community, and those that want better. Those that want to see better, those that want to do better, those that want to hear better. Let's pay attention to them. Let's pay attention to them, right? Fuck the naysayers. Fuck the naysayers. Because what they will do is get a front seat to you making it. They'll get a front seat to everything good and sustainable that you put out and that you do. Let's make them watch. Let's make them watch our success. Let's make them watch our success. Let's make them waddle with those that choose to be just like them. Do you realize most people that have such negative things to say about people that's never done them anything, that's never done them anything wrong, never done them any harm, most of those people have nothing. They are bankrupt, not just financially, morally, integrity-wise, and humanity. They have none. They have none of it. No money, no integrity, no morals, and no humanity. Why the fuck are we giving air and attention to them? Let them die. If we stop breathing air into them, they will die. They will die as they waddle in their shit. As they waddle in their hate, their jealousy, their disgust, and their envy for the good in you, for the do, for the can in you. Because see, that is what they hate. The do, the can in you. The success in you. The fact that you did something they can't do and will never be able to do. That is why they hate you. That is why they lie on you. That is why they do everything they do to tear you down, right? It is obsessive. the way these people on this app behave. It is obsessive. I'm not talking to just the people. I'm not talking about just the people that sit up and do these lives and have all these negative things to say. I'm talking to the motherfuckers sitting in the comments as well. The key corner. The amen corner. I'm talking to you miserable motherfuckers as well. You're miserable and you need to get your shit together. You need help. You need real live help. And as long as you are sitting in the key amen corner, you cannot and will not be helped. It is impossible because you have blinders on. And if it's not negative energy, you can't accept it. You can't regurgitate it. You can't live in it. Because you need the negative fuel to feel like, you ever met a motherfucker that only feel like somebody when they putting somebody down? That's what you motherfuckers are. That's exactly what y'all are. You motherfuckers that run those lives and you motherfuckers that sit up in their comments and keep the bullshit going. That's exactly who and what you are. You're a miserable person who need help and you have refused to get help. You'd rather waddle in your pain and see the pain of others than you would to get help to be properly healed. Healed to the point of you being able to help someone else. Do you know how many stories that we have, how many life events that we have gone through that could help somebody? That could help somebody? Or just living through things, watching things, being able to share those things. Do you know how many people we can help and usher into healing? Do you know how many people that we have the ability to usher into healing? Right? But what? So many people, so many things. So many people. So many people out. You got some people who cover their pain and their hurt with jokes, right? They'd rather joke about shit than to really face the pain and the hurt and to get help. It is a coping mechanism and it is a defensive mechanism, right? Protect myself. So I'm not going to face this. I'm going to make it a joke. Hee hee ha ha, funny joke. Or I'm going to make jokes about it because I don't want to face it. Or I don't want to face myself in the mirror. So this is how I get around doing that. I make the shit a joke. This shit ain't funny. This shit is not funny. We have people hurting. People hurting. People whose wounds have been torn. Oh, whose wounds have been torn open by the fuck shit that's going on across this app. And then they're left to waddle in their open wounds because no fucking body is given the resources. Every fucking body is keying, ha, and nobody is given the resources to help. To help. And so this is what this live today is about. It is more important that we get out these resources and we drown out those hating ass, jealous ass, envious ass people with positivity. With positivity. I don't know who you serve, what master you serve, and I don't care. If I can help you, I am willing to help you. I am willing to help you. This program, this is one of the things that they offer. I'm going to put the screen back up with their phone number on it, right? We have to do better. We have to do better, not just as a community, but as a society, period. As a society, period. We have to do better. Let me change this background. We have to do better. And if somebody has the information to Meg Thee Stallion's website, please put that up. I know it's bad bitches need help too or something like that. Put that information up. Let's practice spreading positivity, resources, and helping one another. Helping one another, right? We all have these complaints on this app. We all have these complaints. Good greetings. We all have these complaints. Hey, on this app, right? About how we're treated on this app, about what is allowed to go on this app. We all have these complaints, right? But when we're given resources to help us, we don't even utilize them. When we're given information to help us, we don't even utilize them. So do we really want help with the problem in the situation? Or do we just want to be in the amen corner or want to be seen saying something, right? Because you got a lot of people. You got a whole lot of people that want to be seen saying something, that want to be seen as if they're really doing something to help, but they sitting right there waddling in the fuck shit. They sitting right there waddling in the dirt, the grime, the mud, and the shit. Sitting right there. Have the ability to help and refuse to help. Or they're so afraid to help because as we have witnessed across this app, when you fucking speak up and you speak out, depending on who you're speaking up against and who you're speaking out against, motherfuckers will attack you to no fucking end. They will attack you to no end. And the people that give in to that attack or they shut up and be silenced because of that attack, those are people that are not properly healed. And this is why I say let's heal. Because when you are healed, you can stand not only in, you can stand on what you're saying and not give a fuck about what the next person thinks. See, I've never been a follower. I've never been a part of an in crowd. I'm a fucking leader. I'm even a leader to the point of when I don't have the word and somebody else does, I know how to stand back and let that person shine. Because that's what a real leader looks like. That's what a real leader does. A real leader is willing to stand back and allow the person with the word, with the information, with the knowledge and with the understanding to go out front. We got too many fucking people that want to be leaders, but they're afraid that somebody's going to take their spot, that somebody's going to have a more powerful word, a louder voice, a bigger platform. Fuck all that. What we should be caring about is, are we healing? Are we getting the help that we need? Are we being treated the way that we deserve to be treated? That's what we should care about. That's what we should care about, period. I don't give a fuck about building a platform. I don't give a fuck about being the person who's known for helping change the world. I give a fuck about the world changing. That's what I give a fuck about. I give a fuck about a better world for my 4 kids and my 10 grandkids, almost 11. That's what I care about. That is what I give a fuck about. Because see, if things don't change, all of this is for naught. Everything we're doing is for naught. So, fuck whose platform brings the information, right? If it's the right resources, if it's the right help, drown out. If the motherfucking person is negative, drown their negativity out. Pluck away the right information, the good information, and give it. One of the things I learned when I was a Christian, take the meat, leave the bone. Take the meat, leave the bone. Because a motherfucker you don't like could have the right word you need. A motherfucker you don't support could have the right resources that you need. So it is more important that we elevate the resources, that we elevate the fucking things that are needed. Fuck the person. We don't have to elevate the person or the platform. Elevate the message. Elevate the message. It's not necessary to elevate the messenger when we have the ability to elevate the message? Pluck out what's needed and leave what's not needed behind. Let us practice doing that. Let us practice doing that. Afternoon, you ready? You ready? Let us practice doing that. Let us practice drowning out the negative, the naysayers, and the bullshit. I'm not on YouTube right now, but I am going to put it on YouTube. With the positive, with the proper information. That's why I sent this one to you. I thought you was in the other spot. Come on up. Put the request in. Come on up. And with the resources that we need, share your resources, people. Share your resources. And I'm not talking about just financial resources. I'm talking about phone numbers, websites. I'm talking about all of that. Okay. Accept. I don't want you in this box like this. Does anybody know how I change the setup of how we are? I'd rather we be side by side than, let me see if I can change that. If I can change how. Like that. I don't want that. I can't hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you know how to do that? Change it to where we're side by side and not
not on this app. I don't go live enough to know.
Dang it. So, if anybody knows how to do it, please help us do that, because I'd rather it be more of a side by side motion than like this, because listen, Keith has some really good information for us. To me, he's a gem. I can't speak for nobody else, but to me, he's a gem. I just want to know how to move us from like this. I don't like how we are. Oh my goodness. You know what? Oops. You know what? If you want to go live, see, I didn't want it like that because I wanted you to be able to see the comments. Please, somebody, anybody, y'all know how to do this, how to help us fix this, so we're side by side and we're not like this right here. Anybody? Okay, you guys have been waiting for for me, I'm gonna call them our neighborhood community crisis counselor. That's what I'm gonna call them. Y'all call them what you want to call them. That's what I'm gonna call him, because I just spent probably like 30, 45 minutes with him the last time we were live together. And when I tell you, I left feeling brand spanking new. I did. So if you have questions, let me see. Can I change it like this? Nope, I can't change it like that. Ay. I should have probably figured this out ahead of time, but since I didn't. If you have
it's okay. Listen, as long as they can hear me, as long as they can see me, we good. I've learned after my 20 years in the New York City school system, sometimes with technology, it's not going to go the way you want. You rock out anyway, so don't worry about it. Those that need to hear it and see it will hear it and see it, so we don't have nothing to worry about. First and foremost, let me apologize because I was all over the place, but here I had sent you a couple of messages. I was like, I know we said 12 o'clock, so I was sitting here with my lip poked out because I was like, wait a minute. So again, I want to apologize to anybody who expected me to be here a little earlier. I was, but I was in the wrong place. So two things can be right and two things can be wrong at the same time. So my apologies for being tardy. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on and let me give a little bit about who I am so anybody watching will understand. I am Keith K.L. Belvin. I'm a crisis specialist, professional counselor, author, educator, husband, father, and what I do is I'm a professional problem solver. I am the person that people come to when things are wrong, and I am a crisis specialist. I am the person that when there's a crisis, I am the person that people turn to because, one, I stay calm in the midst of crisis. Two, I keep a level head even when other people don't. I've been on TikTok for a little while, but I've been on social media since 1994, so none of this is new for me. And what I simply try to do now is I try to build in the mental health arena is to try to get folks to understand that their mental health is as important as their physical health, and actually it's all connected with their spiritual or slash social health, depending on where you are. If you're a spiritual person, then it would be your spiritual health. If you're not a spiritual person, then it would be your social health. But all three are connected. Often we'll talk about what we eat, we'll talk about how we work out, but we won't talk about our minds, and then we don't talk about in connection with our spirit. So that's what I do and what I bring to the table.
Let me cut you off for 1 second, just for 1 second. Guys, if you don't listen to nothing else I say to you, there are 3 accounts that I want you to follow right now. The Man in the Box, definitely follow that account. The Man Who Is Gifting, Farrah Gray. That is Dr. Farrah Gray. None other than Dr. Farrah Gray. Follow him. Follow both of these gentlemen across all platforms, because if I'm not mistaken, they are on all platforms. Very good information, very helpful to our community. They love us. They want to see us do better. They want to see us have better. Follow those 2 men across all social media accounts. Also, there's an account in here called Llama Talk 101. What? You not Dr. Farrah Gray? You don't play. Don't try to downplay. Don't try to downplay who you are up in here. Don't try to See, I wasn't gonna tell nobody that, but since you didn't put it out there, yes, that is my family. That is my blood. That is my family. That is my blood, and we come from good stock. Good, wholesome, loving, caring. Want to see our community do better. I'm telling you, he has a wealth of knowledge. I call him my little big cousin because he's younger than I am, but he's smarter than I am. And he has more information and resources than I do. So please follow the Man in the Box. Follow Farrah Gray across all social media sites, networks, everywhere you can. And there's another account in here called Llama Talk 101. Follow that account. Let's get back to healing, because see, that's what we need to do. Before we can be worth anything to anyone else, we must first be healed ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We got to get healthy. We got to get healthy spiritually, socially, and physically. Mentally, we got to get healthy. We have to. So I am so sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead. You have the floor.
No, I appreciate it. And shout out to Dr. Farrah Gray as well. I've seen his work and I appreciate it. I think what you just pointed out is one of the things that people need to pay attention to, is that just in your statement alone, you mentioned options. And that's one of the things that people have to understand, that we have more now than we ever had before, is options. So there really is no excuse not to get the help that you need. But I think one of the things that you just mentioned, which is super critical, is accepting the fact that you need help. Many of us don't understand that we need help, and then we don't listen when sisters like yourself, Brother Gray, and myself attempt to try to open up the door to understanding. We're not projecting, we're trying to offer an opportunity for somebody to say, you know what, I might need that, or I feel that way, or I need to have a conversation with somebody because something's wrong. And so for me, I think the blessing and the curse of social media is that we're meeting a lot of great folks on social media, but we're not going deeper and listening to what they're offering, and then using that information away from the app to be able to actually heal ourselves by addressing what's wrong. Now, as I said to you, I am a former educator in New York City. I'm a dean of students. Now I am a professional counselor. I counsel men, women, children, couples, but I specialize in women between the ages of 40 and 70. Now, some people say, why? Well, because when I was out in these streets riling out, that was my target when I was doing negative. Well, why not go back and try to heal the very people that I was trying to harm at one point? And the fact that I come to the table as a learned man, but I also come to the table as a man who has transitioned from what I used to be. So I can come to the table and explain some things of why men do the things that they do by opening up the doors to allow sisters to ask questions that they might not get answers to. But what I also do is when you as sisters get the assistance that you need and you turn to some of the men that you know and go, you should go talk to him. That door is always open to the brother, because my thing with brothers is if you come to me, I'm here for you. But check your ego at the door, because you can't come to me and then tell me how to run the session. You can't come to me and tell me how to try to help you or what you're not going to do. And the reason why is what you've been doing isn't working. So you have to trust, and that's why I work with the women. You don't have to trust me. Trust your lady. Trust your mom. Trust your cousin. Trust your sister. And when your sister says, go talk to this brother, like you just mentioned now, you mentioned Brother Gray and myself. So if brothers don't trust Brother Gray and myself, trust you. So if you say these are the people that you need to talk to, well, then don't argue with me. Argue with the very person that sent you, because obviously she had a reason why she wanted you to come and talk to me. But what I do is I open up the door where I'm not victimizing brothers, but I hold them accountable to the things that they have done in their past, but also work with them closely to create a new pathway. You cannot create a new pathway without creating a new mindset and thought process. That's one of the biggest things that I do, as well as for sisters. Some of our sisters have been hurt so badly that they don't see new pathways. So they just give up on certain pathways. They don't even think the pathway is possible. Well, that's another reason why I work with sisters. Well, it's possible because you have to be able to give examples. We can't tell somebody be something and you don't give examples of what that something is. So when I say to somebody, for 37 years, I was a whore, a super whore, not an ordinary whore, a super whore. But when I tell you the last 17 years, not only because of my wife, I was able to transition because I realized that my wife is my partner and I need her. And I am better with her than I was when I was out here acting a fool. So I can use that as an example. Now, are people going to criticize my past? They're supposed to. But it also amplifies my present. So when you go, how you going to try to teach somebody when you used to be a whore? I love that word you just used, used to. So which one is it for you? What I used to be or what I am now? So I don't stress it, but I use it as a way to bring people to the table.
A lot of people would rather use your past to tear you down than to use your past to see the changes that you've made. A lot of people, I have people to this day that look at me. They know me from my past life, right? I used to gangbang. And I wasn't no run-of-the-mill, quiet. I was a real live, out there doing what it do gang member. And one of the things that helped me, right, was a tragedy. Something tragic happened to me to help me change my life, but then something also beautiful was in that tragedy. And it helped me change my life. People would tell me I wouldn't live to be 16. And I took that literally, right? But what they didn't understand, they were trying to speak death as in death gone die by over my life. And they spoke change because I did die a death at 16, right? I did die a death. I died the death of that person who I once was to become the person that I would be at that time. And I have yet died another death because a lot of people that know me know and understand that I used to be a Christian pastor, and I am no longer a Christian pastor. I am spiritual, but I am not a Christian pastor. We have to be willing to take the good, the bad, and the ugly and rebuild ourselves. So many people think that once you get 40, once you get 50, it is too late. As long as you have breath in your body, it is never too late to be a different person, to be a better person, to rebuild, to start again. Stop allowing people to lie to you and to make you think It is too late. And Black community, please stop letting people tell you you don't need therapy and you don't need counseling. That is one of the biggest lies in our community. And we have to get past that stigma. Because let me tell you something, without counseling, without therapy, none of you motherfuckers would really want to know me. And that is the truth of the matter.
No, you speak a thing, and that's one of the reasons why, for me, I'll give you a couple of things. One, I create mental health ministry, so I work with churches, because what I do is I work with pastors, let them know that their parishioners need mental health assistance, and the church should be paying for it. And so, reason why is because often churches suffer from the same things the Black community does, lack of understanding of how to fix the problem. So when you go to church on Sunday, you'll get a fantastic sermon. You'll get a great word being preached. You'll get the who, the what, when, the where, the why, but what you won't get is the how. So what I actually show pastors is that it's not on you to actually try to fix. I am a real Ephesians 4 teacher. I am a real Ephesians 4 counselor. So my job as an independent is to show up, help a church set up a mental health ministry, provide the services for the church, and the church pays for it. But the person they have skin in the game too, because they have to pay something towards their services as well. And the reason why is because you pay what you can. Whatever they can pay, the church picks up the rest. Now, what I do is I discount what I normally charge to the church, because this way it's a win-win-win for everybody, and we're all serving the faith. How? I take a little less as a professional. The church pays the balance, and the person pays what they can. What person is going to stop going to their church if their church is actually helping them heal? The church gains, because now the person is not only going to come to church, be connected with the church, they're going to bring other people. Me as a professional, I get paid for what I do. So everybody wins. Also, what we have to understand is that mental health crises are featured in the very Bible that we read. But if we don't understand how to make that look the right way, essay and unaliving oneself is in the Bible as well. My job as an independent is to show up and be able to cut the hair out the sheep's eyes and ears, not police the flock, not try to take the sheep, but clean the sheep up so when the pastor is preaching, him or her can get to the people so they can hear. Because I call it the Miss Seeley factor, right? If you know Color Purple, one of my favorite scenes and everybody's favorite scene is Suge Avery singing God is trying to tell you something. Here's what people miss about that whole scene. One, as Suge Avery is becoming whole with her father. Fantastic, love it, fantastic scene, music, everything. But Miss Seeley is sitting there broken. Why is she broken? She's an SA survivor, abuse survivor. She's also a business owner. She's also independent. But what happens? She's empty because no one has healed her. So do you know who healed her? It was the very man who was helping break her down and beat her up, Mr. on the outside, who got moved by what he was hearing, and he went and got the money to get her sister back home because he understood what she needed. So God will sometimes work on people outside of the church while you're there inside the church. But the key is, how many Miss Seeleys do we have sitting there? How many Miss Seeleys are sitting there clapping and watching somebody else celebrate coming to the Lord, coming and getting what they need, but they're broken because there's no way to touch them. There's no way to offer something to them. So the reason why churches have to have these things in place is because also you don't feel comfortable telling your pastor or leadership at the church the things that's going wrong. If you have sexual issues, you don't want to tell a pastor, hey, every time your wife goes by, I kind of stare at her little. No, you're not going to say that. If you stealing at work, you don't want to tell your pastor you stealing things at work, but you can come tell me, a professional counselor, or you can tell one of the other professionals that I deal with what's going on, which allows you to get the healing that you need, but still stay connected to your church. Now, pastors, I got you. Pastors are supposed to, because we hear what? We are renewed by what? By the changing of our mind, right? Well, how do we change a person's mind if we don't give them the services needed?
Sorry.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry. We good?
I don't know. So I got a phone. So
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Okay, I hear you now. I hear you now.
Oh, you hear me now? Okay, I can hear you the whole time.
There's something up to what you're saying. He is he is likening it and saying it church, and a lot of you may be taking it Christian church. No, this is whatever faith you follow. This is whatever belief you have. Don't get turned off by appearing to be Christianity that he's speaking about. Because like I said earlier when I opened up, sometimes we have to look past the messenger to hear the message. The message is more important sometimes. So please don't get turned off. Please don't.
No, listen. If you're imam or your synagogue, or even if you are a person that doesn't believe in any faith, what I'm saying doesn't change. I happen to be a man of faith that practices the Christian faith, me. But what I'm saying works in any environment. I don't care if it's your mosque. As an imam, you should want to have an outside person who comes in and understands the Muslim faith to be able to help somebody who's having emotional issues. And it does not disrespect or cut the Muslim faith low. And it's the same way if it was my Jewish brothers and sisters, my Sikh brothers and sisters. It makes no difference, because in the end, an independent person is necessary for people to feel comfortable to be able to share what's wrong so we can get them the mental health that's needed. Don't get caught on the fact that I happen to practice a particular faith. I don't project my faith anywhere. I just explain to you what I do. What I do and what I am is me. That doesn't make you anything less or make you, it just makes you different from me. And that's okay, because you can still take the same information I'm giving to you. I wouldn't care if all of y'all are secular folks who don't believe in anything. You still know that something is wrong, and you need to have somebody come in and offer that assistance who understands what to do. Often what happens is, because we close ourselves off, we turn to the same people who are suffering from the same damage that we are and say, can you help me? You know what they're going to do? They're going to repeat what they hear on social media. They're going to repeat what they read in the magazine. They're going to repeat what they saw on television, and all of you will still be hurt. Why? That is why when somebody gives their testimony, whether it's in church, out of church, at home, at a party, halfway down a bottle of brown, I don't care what it is, everybody starts yelling preach, because it connects to something with them. But we can talk to each other and share our story. But if somebody doesn't actually step in and say, brother, hold on a second, you know you're hurting, right? Or sister, you know why you said that? You're hurting. You need some help. If we're not going to actually offer the assistance, if we're not going to actually give the names of people that they can talk to, if we're not then going to refer them to people who can now say, well, Sister Closet Talk said you have an issue, come talk to me, let's go. So now when we do that, this is what it is, because the resources can't be used if they're not activated.
Man.
Right now in Florida, do you think people are worried about who's a Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Jew, or anything else? If their house is flooded and they need assistance, they don't care who comes to that door and says, come, let me get you out of this bad environment and get you to dry, safe shelter so you can eat. You know what's going to happen? Let's go. Because you're not becoming what they are. You're just saying, get me to a place that I'm good.
Yep.
So please don't let the fact that what I am, because you may say, well, I don't trust them. Don't trust what I say. Watch what I do. Trust what other people you love say about me. I used to say this when I was teaching. I was an unorthodox teacher. I did a lot of things with kids of color in the classroom that a lot of people don't do. Why? Because I understood our children in certain environments see differently, think differently, feel differently. I understood at a very early age that urban kids suffer from PTSD long before they actually diagnose what it is. Because I'll give you an example. When I first moved from New York to Delaware, one of the first things I realized that I couldn't sleep because it was too quiet. I literally was walking around. It was so quiet. I didn't know what to do, because all those years of living in New York with all the noise, I literally didn't know what to do when I had common peace and regular peace. So if I'm that way and I'm 55 or 54, about to be 55, what is a child 8, 9, and 10 dealing with? What is a man 15, 16, 17, or a sister in her 20s, brother in his 20s? What are they dealing with? They've had this for a long time and no one has addressed it. And when they have addressed it, they ignore those situations. They ignore that me just trying to get from my home in the morning to school is a whole routine, that I got to avoid gang members. I got to avoid drug addicts. I got to avoid people that drive recklessly. And then I got to avoid other classmates just to get to the classroom. Now, forget the fact that I've never actually seen quality learning. So what am I supposed to do? Who helps me? So as an educator, that's what I do. And the one thing we have to do basically with people of color, We have to learn to stop tearing each other down because we don't understand. Don't tear me down because you don't understand me. Say, brother, could you explain it to me? Brother, you know what? I normally don't trust people from the church, but could you explain to me how this works? And that's when you'll see what I'm about, or anybody is about. When you ask them to explain it to you, if they can only speak in their voice, they're not helping you. Because to help you, they got to come where you are and help you to understand, because the work is going to be yours, not mine. When I counsel you, I'm not going to lift you up the mountain. I can travel with you. You got to do the work. And I can't get you to do that work if I can't speak to you.
Absolutely. One of the things I learned from a professor, I had a poli-sci professor, right? And one of the things that I learned toward the end of the class, I told him, I have watched and listened daily, and I have tried to figure out which political party you follow. You know what he said to me?
What's that?
I have done my job.
There you go.
I have done my job. He said, it is more important that I give you the resources, the understanding, and the knowledge that you need than for you to know what political party I follow. He said, and if I could teach this class and have you not be able to tell which political party I follow, I have done my job. I have done my job. And this is why I say we have to stop worrying about the messenger and worry about the message.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we will not hear the message because we're so damn busy looking at the messenger. We're too busy looking at the messenger that we don't hear or understand or get the gist of the actual message. One of the things as a pastor that I learned when Jesus said, you'll find no love in your own town amongst your own people. Why? Why is it? Because they feel that they know you so intimately, right? That nothing you say or do can move you past who they think they know.
Exactly. And you leave them alone. And what did he say?
And that's
at that moment,
part. You
leave them alone.
The information. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. But you shake the dust off your feet
and be out.
and be out. The deuce.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Even though I'm not a practicing Christian.
No, it's okay because the stories stand on their own. Here's the thing, and I want anybody watching to please understand this. The stories, forget what people have done with them. The stories stand on their own. What you just mentioned, right? I use as a Christian counselor, I use the stories to be able to help people see differently. And I'll give you an example of the one you just brought up. Jesus basically said, if the people in your crew, if the people in your neighborhood don't rock with you because they still remember when Keith was out here stealing and running up in all these women, if they can't let that go, then he says, leave them alone and go on about your business. Once you deem them that they don't get it, because here's the thing. The problem is he healed the least amount in his hometown where he should have healed most. In Nazareth is where he should have healed the most. They should have been dragging people out. I know that's my dude. No. Instead it was, I know that little dude. Nah, I don't trust him. And so in your own lives, how many times have I heard people say, I don't know why strangers treat better than family? Because family can't let go of what they know. A stranger only knows what you present to them at the time that they meet you. So there are people right now that if you try to explain to them what I used to be, well, unless they read my book From Gigolo to Jesus, they would not know and they would not believe you.
Oh my goodness. I actually want to write a book too called From Crippin' to Christ to Spirituality. I honestly want to write that book. And I opened up before you got over here with telling people, stop paying attention to the naysayers. Stop caring about the people that have something bad to say about you, that don't support you. Worry about the people that support you, because those are the people, right, that are going to build you up and that are going to get the information that you're giving circulated as it needs to be circulated. We give too much energy, space, and time to those that dislike us, envy us, jealous of us, hate on us, than we do to those who actually not only like us, but need what we're giving. What we're giving. Stop giving way energy,
You have to.
time
You have
to
to. It's
those
the time.
people.
You have to, but you know what it is? Unfortunately, many of us, the attention from those that we deem important. But what you don't get to realize, and I say this to students and I say this to people on a regular, I don't know what that man or woman did to become famous. I don't know what that man or woman did to become popular. They might have went out here and sold their souls to 1,000 devils. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, you don't go on what you see, you go on the interactions that you have. Because how many of us, and let's just bring this to a very regular low level. How many times have we dated a man or a woman that we thought initially was everything that we enjoyed about a person, only to find out that not only were they not that, they were worse off than we ever thought. And now we're torn because it's like, how didn't I see that? And then some of us beat ourselves up, be like, how didn't I see that? Well, often the reason why you didn't see it is because you focused on the surface. You didn't actually stop and go, let me dig a little deeper and see what this person is about. When the words and the actions don't line up, trust what you experience. Forget what you see. There are people trained to be able to say things. There are people trained to be able to write things. There are people trained to get you to see. They're actually paid tons of money to get you to think, feel a certain way. This is why advertisers get $20 to $30 million for a 30-second or minute commercial. The key is, what has been your interaction with the person? What has this person did when they are with you? How has this person made you feel? Trust that.
Yes.
Trust that this person seems to really get excited about you until y'all hit the sheets. And after they're over, you don't see them again. Why? Because they got real excited to get some from you. But once they got it, I'm going to go about my business. Trust that, because that's tangible. That's something that you can go, so wait a minute. Every time this guy wants something, he gets nice. He gets sweet. Okay, trust that. And one of the things when I'm working with women and they say, well, when should I take him back? Oh, that's an easy one. If he show up after y'all are separated, it's an easy one. It's real simple. When he comes back and says, but I love you, don't listen to that trash. Here's what I want you to listen to. If he comes back and says, I'm different, what changed you? And if he says, no, I changed me, close the door. He has to show you the thing that he was connected to that got him to think differently and got him to act different. Meaning, if he comes back and says, I just want to spend time with my children. Okay, go ahead. You can see that. You can experience that. You will notice that he is coming, picking up the kids or child and doing what he's supposed to do with the dad. That allows you to go, wait a minute, he's doing. Or when he comes back and says, I got a new job and my new job requires me to do X, Y, and Z, and I realized I had to do some things better about myself, even dress differently. You can see that. You can see that the job itself, the children, or I bettered myself. How? Here's my certification. Here's my degree. Here's my whatever. The work that was done. If they can't show you the work that was done to make them better, cut them loose. I don't care what he says to you. I don't care how good he smells standing at the door. If he can't show you that the work was done, and now this is how this work is going to help me be better for you. If he can't come and show you how he's going to make your life better, I don't care what he tells you. Close the door and go about your business. He's not the man for you. Because a real man, when he understands the changes needed for him, first, he's going to come back and apologize. Second, he's going to say, here's what I'm doing and what I think would help you if we're together. Because it shouldn't be about him if he's trying to get back with you. But if it's not about you, then why are you bothered? Close the door. You're better off by yourself.
Couple of things to say. Couple of things.
Sure.
I want to because I am a supporter of all marginalized communities. So though we are using he and she, please know this goes across lines, okay?
Oh, it's everybody.
It applies, period. Another thing I want you to understand, some people are just like cookies, internet cookies. They know exactly your behaviors. They know what you like. They know what you don't like. And like those internet cookies, they know what to feed your ass to get from you what they want from you. You have people that are energy vampires. You have people that are creativity vampires. You have people that are love and soul vampires, right?
Yep.
And if they know that you are a giving person,
they will keep absorbing.
Continue to take as long as you continue to give. You hold the key to stop the pain. You hold the key to stop the bleeding, right?
Come on now. Come on now.
I had to tell myself, I was married for 30 years. You know what I had to tell myself to get away from that marriage? I had to tell myself, I love me. I love me more than he can love me.
There you go.
I want better for me more than he can want better for me.
There you go.
I want to see me not only joyful, because one of the things I learned very early on was you can't fuck with my joy. You may fuck up my happiness for a moment, but you won't be able to mess with my joy. So I had to learn how to steer toward my happiness, because happiness is momentarily. Happiness changes from situation to situation, from moment to moment, from person to person. Happiness changes, right? But what you have to understand is you are in control of your happiness. And when you see a person manipulating your cookies, cut their ass off. Cut their ass off. When you see them manipulate, an easy way to find out that they're manipulating your cookies is to pay attention. Are they happy about what you're happy about? Do they like what you like? Or is it all about what they can get out of you? What they can get out of you.
Also add to that, how do you benefit?
In two forms. Ladies, you know what I'm doing. I'm using cookies.
No doubt.
In two forms.
No doubt.
Those cookies are very powerful. Some men can withstand them, but most can't. Those cookies are very powerful. Baby, utilize your cookies correctly.
No doubt. The key is, what do you benefit in any relationship with whoever you're dating? And thank you for reminding me that. So if I didn't say they, I apologize. If anyone has taken what I said offensive, it's okay. I don't mind correction. Any honest man about any person that is about being a learned person will always acknowledge if they made a mistake. I don't care who you are. The question becomes, how do you benefit with who you are with? How does who you are with enhance you? And does that person look to enhance you as well as you enhancing them? If it is only one-sided, you have to look at it like breathing. If I only breathe out, I die. If the person only breathes in, they die. So the only way to be able to sustain life, there has to be a consistent breathing in and out. And in any relationship that you are in, it is a style of breathing. So I'm giving, she's receiving, I'm receiving, she's giving, I'm receiving. If both of them, whatever your designation is, if a person is giving and you are receiving and you're returning that is breathing. And now you can build on that breathing because there is life. When it's only one-sided, there is no life, and death is the only thing that will follow when there is no life. And what we have to understand, and y'all maybe ask, what does anything have to do with mental health? Well, all of it has to do with mental health because we're conditioned to not trust. We're conditioned to accept things that are negative. We're conditioned not to believe some of the things that we actually experience because we're tricked in what we see. And so with mental health, you have to learn to be able to say something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. I need to speak to a professional counselor. And it all depends. You might need a coach, someone who can show you what to do. You might need a counselor, someone who can guide you on what to do. Or you might need out-and-out therapy because you might need somebody to go in and heal what is actually damaged. Or you might even need psychological help because now medication is necessary. And that's why I'm not adverse medication, but I don't go to it right away because there's levels to everything. But none of that moves into place until you first acknowledge what you feel, what you see, and why it doesn't line up. Now, when you come to a coach and the coach goes, well, I can show you how to do some things, but I think you sit down with somebody because there's more there. Now, if you come to me as the professional counselor and we sit down, I'm like, you know what? Therapeutically, there's so much that I can do. You actually have to sit down with somebody who can actually get a little bit deeper in what's going on because there might be areas that require more assistance. It's like a doctor, and I always say it like this. Your regular doctor treats you. When you first feel something's wrong, you go to your regular doctor. my shoulder does not feel good and it hurts. Doctor looks at it, runs the basic triage, then says, I'm not sure. This is not my area expertise. I'm going to send you to a specialist. Now, he doesn't or she doesn't stop being your doctor. Who you go to next, the specialist says, come to me. I'm a specialist in shoulders. I'm a specialist in joints. I'm a specialist. I'm looking at this, but I found something else. I'm going to send you to another specialist. You know what happens? None of those doctors stop being doctors. It's putting you in position that the person who can best treat you can help. Now, once you are treated, what happens? You go back to your regular doctor who now offers you regular care. So you don't lose the doctor because you got a specialist. You actually got additional help, which all started from you simply going to your doctor and saying, something doesn't feel correct. Well, many of us in our community, especially in communities of color, many of us never make that initial call. I have a hashtag, two of my hashtags. The first one is we can fix this, because I believe that. I believe when two people get together, anything is possible. The second hashtag is bring me your pain. And the reason why that's my hashtag is I can't help you until you decide to bring me your pain. A doctor cannot treat you if you're sitting in the house going, my back is killing me, but I don't want to go see the doctor to say, what's wrong with my back? So you're slapping on salve, you're slapping on everything, but it ain't getting better. Why? You don't know.
I was just writing. I promise you, I was just writing. I'm writing. Work the steps.
Work the
what
steps.
we can learn from AA and
yes,
all of
yes,
those things we can learn. You don't have to be an alcoholic to work those steps. The first thing you must do is admit.
Thank you.
You have
something
wrong.
Something is wrong.
That is the first thing that you must do. I promise you, I was writing that as you were talking. You have to first admit that there's a problem, and then you have to work the steps. Because see, here's the truth of the matter. No matter what I say to you, no matter what Keith says to you, if you're not honest about what the problem is, it cannot be helped. You cannot be helped. And if you are not willing to take the steps that you have been given and work those steps, you cannot get ahead of it. You cannot get out of it. So first admit, then work the steps that you are given.
And let me offer this too, because you said it earlier. And I want to, because you mentioned happiness. And this is something that I really, when I go out to speak and when I talk at different places, and I have a couple of mentor programs here in Delaware, because I still work with young adults, because I'm not that far removed. I'm just an old man in the room helping some of these young folks. So I have junior high school, and this year I'm going to be going back as far as elementary school, because I realized that I got to try to reach some of these kids earlier in conversations I have with my own daughter. But you talked about happiness, right? And I'm going to go from the Webster's dictionary. So again, somebody should be able to prove to you or show you. Yeah, Webster's. Yeah, we know the history of Webster's, but it's okay. But for definition purposes, we understand. But it talks about the state of well-being and contentment. This is the definition of happiness, the first one. And the second one is a pleasurable or satisfying experience. Now, that's important because I'm going to tell you why. A state of well-being and contentment. How many people are in a state of well-being or actually content? So I want you to just look at that for a second, because many of us have gotten so used to just existing. And here's the worst thing in the world. How you feel today? I'm all right. I'm good. I'm okay. Worst words in the world. You're not telling me nothing. You're not saying anything, because well-being means you're at a higher level of existence. Everything is okay. Contentment is a higher level of existence. But then when you look at the second one, a pleasurable or satisfying experience. And here's why that's tricky. And this is why I understand that sometimes our happiness is what tricks us. Well, you just mentioned about the cookies. Well, how often and how many times is the pole in the cookie the thing that causes pleasure and satisfying experience? So we believe that we are happy. We believe that we are happy because we're sharing some things, and it's some things is going on. But here's the case. That's why that's the B of happiness. The second definition. The first one, a state of well-being and contentment. So I always say to somebody, don't let the B take the place of the A because it's second for a reason.
And
Now, it's not saying that it's not happiness. It does change.
Also.
It does change. So which means 3 people could be in a room, ask them are they happy, they could all say yes, and they won't be lying. But if I don't sit down and actually have a conversation, because 2 could only be happy because they're being pleasured, or they're happy because they have a satisfying experience. Hey, a good meal is a satisfying experience, but that's not contentment. Contentment is when I can swing open my doors and I can make any good meal that I want anytime I choose to. That's a difference. Or within a state of well-being. State of well-being is when I know I am loved, and I know that that expression of the love can come when I want it because I'm laying next to somebody who wants to see me happy, not just create a pleasurable experience.
That's why I say we create our own happiness. We have to determine our own happiness, and happiness is also contingent sometimes on what's going on in your life.
Yes,
it changes sometimes because of what's going on in your life.
Come on, right? Exactly.
We have to be aware of these things. We have to be aware of these things. We have to be aware of the fact that the same man that made you happy yesterday will piss your ass off today and make you hurt him, right?
Yeah.
We have to understand that, and we have to be accepting of that and do what we need to do. If happiness is where you find content, I don't find content in happiness because I know it's ever changing, right? So I don't get content just by being happy, right? If that's all you're seeking, then keep on with the multiple partners and because that's what because I don't care how good the seg is, right? Something can happen and something can change. That'll change how you feel about the seg. So if the seg is what made you happy, then all it takes is a change. This is why a lot of people do serial cheating, right?
Cheating.
You also, pride goes into cheating too. There's a lot of pride tied to cheating. A lot of people cheat because they're no longer getting what they got from that first partner.
Well, no, bring it down even more. They cheat because they can. And then and many, that might be one of the reasons, but at the end they still had to make the choice, which goes back to what you said. It is the decision to now let me introduce somebody else to my life physically. But you mentioned something which I think I don't want people to miss. When you said happiness is not the thing that keeps you content. Happiness is what comes from whatever it is that you have chosen to be content with. So I really want people to listen to what you just said. The happiness itself, the goal can't be just, ooh, I'm happy. No, because if I am content in my life, if I am in a state of great well-being, the happiness is the offshoot. I'm going to be happy. Who's going to be in a state of well-being? Who's going to be in a state with a partner that they really enjoy being with and not be happy? Because it is the content from that creates the happiness. So often you'll hear people go, oh, I just want what y'all have. You're not us. You can't have it unless you know yourself. You got to know yourself. Like, okay, I'm happily divorced and happily married. So I explain what that is. Yes, I messed up the first marriage because I didn't understand what a marriage required. So the second time I made the decision that this is it. I am not going to get married a second time because I want this to work. But this time I met a person who was actually compatible to me. We wanted the same things. So when we connected with each other, even when we had negatives, we were able to overcome them because the relationship with each other was more important than the dismay. So we fought through any dismay to make when we were dating so the marriage would be good. So I've been with my wife 22 years. We've been married 15. But those first 7 was an opportunity to work it all out. So now we're good. But if you look at us and go, I want what they want, hold on a second. You may want
steps we worked,
or you may not be built for what we went through. So the question becomes, where are you with you? And can you find a partner that's going to come through the door and enhance you and you enhance them so y'all could grow into that contentment that you're talking about, which then the joy comes. See, many of us don't want to put the work in to get to joy. They want the joy initially. And many a pimp, male or female, has learned if I can tantalize your senses, I can give you the appearance of joy.
Cookies.
There you go. I can give you the appearance of joy, so much so that you start to convince other people, man, you need to leave that chick alone. Girl, you need to leave that dude alone. You need to leave them alone. You don't understand. You don't know what she does to me. You don't know what he does to me. You don't understand. But the outside person is going, yeah, but you by yourself 6 days out of the 7, how could it be joy? But you're fighting so hard for that one day that you're not listening because the person who's not connected emotionally is saying, that's not joy. What are you doing? Because you only wrapped yourself around a certain situation. When you actually get real joy, this is why the term, it is better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Because when you have loved and lost, it is like tasting good food. You don't go back to eating out of a trash can or enjoying what comes out of a trash can when you've had great food. No. Now you're like, listen, I will fight my way to get me some good food instead of eating out that trash. But if all you had is trash, or you sitting at the trash can trying to offer to other people, come on and get down on this with me. What? No, it tastes good. Trust me, because they've never had. So that's I just want you to understand what you just said. It's super powerful that folks understand. Contentment comes from something else, and the joy follows. The joy follows. When you are in your house that you work for, that you save for, that you strive for, that you now have, and they hand you those keys, and you walk through and go, I bought my first house. You are content. What comes next? Happiness. I worked for this. When you get your degree, when you get whatever it is, so I'm not just talking relationship. When they call your name and you walk up and they hear your name and they give you that degree, what follows when you're content that you did this? Happiness. I did that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what happiness comes from. The contentment of something that you put into motion that works for you. We've started to twist that, especially in communities of color. We say happiness is a new pair of shoes. How, Sway? How? So you got fresh new gear on, and that's what makes you happy. That's okay. Here, check this out. Remembering Waiting to Exhale,
mm-hmm.
and she was with the thicker brother, and he was like, "What do you want?" And she started to run off all the things that would make her happy.
I got that.
Thank you. And he said, "You don't want much." When she was explaining, because in her mind, this is what she thought was necessary to be happy. And he looked at her like, you don't want much. She was stuck on that he was chubby. Never understanding that the brother said, I will give you everything that you want because what you said, I got that. Now, here's the crazy part. After she cuts him off because he wasn't. We couldn't hear you.
But even before that, you noticed the sexual encounter, right? At first, it was about size and all
he wasn't that good.
She put her mind to when you see how mind can trick your behind. When she put her mind to what was really being said, what really was transpiring in that moment, baby, it was all good. It was all good. This is one of the things I'm learning still to understand and do. I used to look at relationships of all kinds as 50-50. I had to learn that's no good because I'm giving part of myself. I had to learn and understand 100%, 100%. Here's what you could take out of a 100% relationship, friendship, whatever ship it is. Here's what you could take out of that. If you gave 100 and they gave 100 and it didn't work, then damn it, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
it wasn't meant to be.
True.
Stop giving half, part, pieces, expecting 100% or not giving 100% and wondering why things went wrong. One thing you can say for a fact, when you have given 100%, you did the best that you could do. And that situation was not meant for you.
And you both want to give 100% because there's going to be times you can't. So your partner's going to step in and go, I got this because I'm already on 100. Don't worry about it. Because here's what you got to look at, which people don't. I hear 80, 20, 50. That's foolishness. I agree with you 100. I'll tell you why. What does two people working at max capacity create?
Man.
And then think about it. So
Heaven
if
and
I'm behind,
earth.
if I'm weak today, and I ain't got it, my lady's like, I got this, and she's on 100. Now I'm recharging. You know what happens when I step back up? I got this, baby. Go ahead and rest. Now I'm at 100. So what happens is we don't fall off that far. So even if today was a rough day, if she's having a rough day at work today, okay, fine. I know how to cook and I know how to clean. Do I like to? No. So if I'm not going to, I'll go get the housekeeper. But whatever it is, I'm going to help. So when she comes in, she's not stuck with having to try to recharge quick when that's not the way we're designed. When she can come in and dinner is ready and all she got to do is relax, well, then her battery has a chance to charge because I'm at 100 and vice versa. And on days that we're both relaxed and now let's go see what we're going to do in this world and we're both at 100, my daughter benefits tremendous because she gets to see both parents work in that capacity. So what we have to understand it is not about 80-20. It is about who has to take the lead today. And when we're not in that position, you're right next to me, not behind me. You're behind me when you're in danger because I don't want you out in front if there's danger. Come on, get behind me. I got you. But for the most part, you're right next to me because together we are a force. I am a greater man than I could have ever been with my wife than I would have been alone because what she brings to me, I can't recreate for myself. I can do a tremendous amount by myself. But what I am when I'm connected to her and vice versa, oh, we're lethal. But the understanding is many of us don't want to let go of the independence so a person can't get that position.
You build a level of trust. You build a level of trust. When you're 100, you build a level of trust. To the point of if I only have 80%, it's all right because, baby, I know you got me.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
build a level of trust. And when you have that level of trust built like that, what I talked about in the strength that Black women are expected to have, when you have that level of trust built in relationships or any of the shits you want to talk about, you are okay with not being 100%.
You become bulletproof. You become bulletproof.
You understand, and it's so, and then you are okay with your vulnerability. See,
yes,
women and men, Black women have a problem with being vulnerable, with being found in a vulnerable state, as do men. One of the things I was talking about before you came in was women are out front when it comes to being seen as sexual assault victims, right? And men are lagging in behind because so many people look at them as being weak for something that happened to them or being weak for sharing what has happened to them. So you have men that are afraid, that are sort of afraid to talk about
it's the mindset. It's the mindset. Like myself, I was, and I'm gonna say SA because I don't want to give them a chance to, because we, they want to change the language because I'm all about medical terminology, but I'm learning that these apps don't like that. So I was SA when I was young, 6 or 7 years old. But once I came to the realization, here's what happens, and this is what helped me. I went through counseling. I'm great. Was because what I had to learn was what happened to me had nothing to do with what I did. What was done to me because of a cousin that had issues with himself. But here's the thing, and I know this when I deal with men. Men, because they're trained not to be connected to their emotions, when they're around other men, the reason why they don't feel comfortable saying something is not only because they're worried about what men are going to say. Most of the men around them don't know what to say. Because when they hear something that's uncomfortable to one brother, they're so worried about them looking as if they're enjoying it or whatever, so they panic, and so they have to be aggressive, or they have to say something derogatory. Because a lot of men don't know how to say, brother, it's okay, that wasn't your fault. So automatically we have to fight with the ideology is that you're not homosexual, no, you're not anything. Somebody took advantage of you because they were wrong. That's not you. That's not a you issue. The only thing that you have to do is heal. The only thing that you have to do is understand that something was done to you. But again, what happens is when the people around you, and sisters too, because how many sisters tell young men of color, shut up and be quiet, or don't be soft, or they use derogatory terms and say, don't be this, and always connected to homosexuality when there's no reason to. So all of a sudden, the young man comes up fighting all of his emotions when he knows something is wrong, but he's forced to press that down inside of him. And then we have sisters who were not taught how to deal with their emotions, so the young man can't open up to them. So when these young men start dating and their women understand, or their partners understand, that they're distant, well, part of that is because it was trained earlier, and vice versa. Is that if some of our men would go back and fix or help heal some of the sisters that they hurt, they could help restore some of the trust that they stole from these sisters. Because if men understood what sisters go through at an early age, and I do this when I go out and I do sessions, group sessions, I say, men, you have no idea how many young women have been SA'd. They will never tell you because you can't handle it. Because one of the first things that happens is that when some of these women tell you what SA'd, you start looking at them like, well, did you like it? What kind of question is that? Because you know why you ask that question? Because your issues with yourself. Because the only thing that you can think about when it comes to anything is that it must have been pleasurable. Why? When actually, are you okay? How were you able to deal with that? Because again, if she was brave enough to let you know that about herself, she's saying that I'm somewhere where I'm better now. But if you're not having these conversations, you know what she quickly understands? I'm not saying nothing to him. And that's why men get all bent out of shape. Who showed you that? Why are you worried about it? See, because men have such an issue with sex is that they panic over everything. So often sisters already figured out and say, well, I'm not going to say nothing because he can't handle it. And I know because when I'm sitting in marriage counseling and we start to get, go ahead.
I'm sorry, because we have people that are not in the comments. So I just want to share this information. If you have been sexually assaulted and you need help, there is an organization called RAINN. That is RAINN. And you could go to rainn.org or you could call 800-656-4673. That is a 24/7 line that you could reach out to get help. Behind me also is another resource that you can reach out to and get help. Because some people are outside listening and they can't see what's being dropped in the comments.
Let me give a couple others while you're here. Also, you have Black Mental Health Alliance, which is blackmentalhealth.com, another resource. You have National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is NAMI.org. And then you also have Anxiety and Depression Association of America, which is ADAA.org. All three organizations that allow you to deal with mental health situations, mental health issues, or just things that you're struggling with in terms of your mental safety or whatever. Those are three different organizations. Yes, it is. Let's see. And yeah, it is Black Mental Health Alliance, which is blackmentalhealth.com. National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is NAMI.org, and then Anxiety and Depression Association of America, which is ADAA.org. And so I just saw one of the sisters put that happened to her. But here's the thing that I want folks to understand is that if we don't have conversations like we're having right now, if we're not having conversations where a person can feel comfortable with coming out and saying, this is what happened to me. When I explained to men that at 7 years old, yes, this is what happened to me. But it made me hypersexual because I went on a tear from 12 years old on to try to prove that I wasn't homosexual. Why? Because in my mind, I did, because my mother and grandmother said you better not be. And then men around me were treating men who were homosexual negative. So in my mind, am I, because of what happened to me? Well, I got to go out here and prove that I'm not. So I'm out here trying to jump every system moving because I'm trying to prove something to an imaginary person. And this is what happens is that when we don't have information, we damage each other because we continue to damage ourselves. And the thing is, we have to create environments that is okay to say, I once had this happen to me, because the very next question is, how did you deal with that? Yes. Not questions of the act themselves. And ladies, please, let me just say this to you. If you are starting to have a conversation about your past, that you were SA'd or you had a life that was very promiscuous, if he wants details about that particular life, be careful of that man. If he wants details, if he wants to know what that was like, or how did you deal with that? Like, if he's more interested in the details of the act, be careful. Because it should turn him off that you were treated that way. So that should not come as a sense of joy to him. If he's really about you, he's going to say, you okay? Were you able to get help with all of that? Yes. Well, I went through counseling. Okay. Well, is there anything I can help with or anything? Just let me know. Because a true person who's about you is going to ask, well, please let me know if I say anything or do anything that creates a problem, because he is not going to know your triggers. He's not going to know. He's not going to know that the Jean Paul Gaultier that he likes to wear is the same that the man was wearing who treated you badly. And you need to be able to have that conversation with him so he can say, you know what, even though I like wearing this, I won't wear it when I'm around you because I don't want to create a problem for you. And that's what I mean, is that when somebody truly cares about you, they're concerned if what they do affects you in a negative way. If that is not happening, you are not with somebody who cares about you, male or female. If you say to her, you know what, pink lotion just does something to me because my aunt used to wear it and she used to do lotion, lays your hair down the way it's supposed to, use something else, because your partner just said something that you are applying causes them mental anguish. There is no reason continue or to say, well, that's just what I like, you're going to have to deal with it. That is not only selfish, it's cruel. Because you're saying to somebody, I know this only care about you, so go F yourself because I enjoy this. You go ahead and hurt. That is not somebody who cares about you. Because a person who really cares about you, they are going to say, how can I help? And if it's as simple as I won't buy red Kool-Aid because you had a problem with red Kool-Aid, we won't get that. But if they really help you, they say, but you know, you might want to talk to a counselor because I do it, but I'm not going to bring it in the house. Why don't have you gotten help? These are conversations.
This is why I wanted you back. This is why I wanted you back. This right here is why I wanted you to come back. And then plus, of course, it was high demand. My inbox was lit up with requests to have you back. This is why I started off by saying, please follow this man, because he goes live on YouTube, not over here. Go and follow. And I believe you go live once a week,
not over here,
right?
I don't like the censorship.
Yeah.
Actually I was supposed to go today, but I'm in Facebook. I'm in FB jail because of something.
Okay,
things in code history now. They're on some BS over there.
That means that somebody
keep tapping the screen.
Reporting. And to the person that may be reporting, I hope you get the help.
It's okay.
You need, because to try to block this type of information
and that
shows that you are a hurting human being. A hurting human being.
That's the problem right there, is because I don't like the fact that this app gives power to people to be able to create a division. So if you got 100 people in a room and they're enjoying a conversation, but you got one person that's just disgruntled, this app gives power to that one person and allows them to interrupt a conversation that's not. I have a problem with that. So the reason why I don't go live over here is because I want to have more control over what I do.
Wait, let's end real quick and come back, because I do want to put what we've done so far on YouTube. And if they get it suspended, I won't be able to. I'm going to go out and come back.
Gotcha. I got you.